Hey guys, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in terms of how I've revised the syllabus in terms of grading, what the revised assignments are going to be for the rest of the semester. So attendance and class participation, as I kind of mentioned, I graded you already for midterms based on the rubric that is in the syllabus, and I posted that grade. That grade will be the grade that you have for attendance and participation. You can get up to 5 points of extra credit, though, if you engage regularly and kind of in a substantive way via things like either via Zoom or via discussion boards or other ways of interacting with each other online, either synchronously or asynchronously. I didn't want anyone to feel like they were going to be penalized because, due to things changing in life, they weren't able to get online at the same time as everybody else or to use video conferencing or anything like that. So I just want you to feel comfortable and confident that I understand that this is a challenging time for everybody, and I didn't want anyone to feel like they were going to be put at a disadvantage because of technology they did or didn't have. So again, you can get up to 5 bonus points. It doesn't mean you have to go on Zoom every single time that we have it, but if we're posting work in progress and you're commenting on your peers' work and you're kind of giving them good pointers and good feedback, that's terrific, and that can earn you those 5 bonus points too. In terms of homework assignments, we're not going to have any more homework assignments outside of those kind of 3 major deadlines or kind of 3 major projects that we're going to continue to work on. So no more weekly or, within the week homework assignments. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to grade you based on the first half of the semester. I'll post that by the end of the first week that we're back, which is week 11. The composition notebooks, I would like you to still keep making them. We're going to keep with the 3 times a week format. I'm actually going to update the format and what we're going to do, and I'll post a new video with that kind of format talking us through it within the next week. And I'm hoping that we can kind of use this both as a way that, obviously in terms of the learning goals, it helps us be better storytellers and to communicate better visually and verbally. But I think the other thing that is hopefully a maybe originally unintended consequence, but I think something that can hopefully help us all during this time, is that it can allow you to take 7 to 10 minutes to just kind of stop what's going on around you, to focus on what's been going on, what you've been doing, and to kind of get some of that down on paper, and to just kind of, it's almost like a mindfulness thing. So hopefully we can just kind of be like, okay, everything else, I'm just going to focus on making something for these 7 to 10 minutes, and just try to clear our mind out of the other clutter, which I think can be kind of useful in general for us right now. So I'm actually going to do it along with you guys, and I'll post mine as well. In order to get it to me, because obviously I can't collect your physical notebooks anymore, we were supposed to have a collection right after midterm. Obviously, we then had that week off. What I would like for you to do is to take a photograph of each of the pages that you've done. So 1 photo per page if you can. And to send them to me, probably via email is going to be the best way to go. You can also, I'll make the Blackboard assignment so you can have unlimited submissions. So if you want to do it through Blackboard, you can. I don't know what's going to be easiest for folks, but however you can get it to me. It might be multiple emails, that's fine. I know that, it's a chunk, it's like a third of the semester you're trying to get to me. But going forward, what I'd like you to do is to email me each time you do it. And then that way, they won't all build up, so you've got a ton of photographs to send me, so that way 3 times a week, I should be getting an email from you saying, hey, here's this week's page, or here's today's page. And that way you're kind of keep doing it and kind of keep in the regular habit of doing it. I'll post mine online so that way maybe, hopefully, if you see mine pop up online, that will remind you that you need to do yours as well. And if you could hear that, yes, I have cats and they will be meowing throughout these videos. They're whiny. Sorry. So, yep, the collection is going to be, make sure that by the end of this first week that we're back, which is week 11, that ends on March 27th, please have sent me your collected composition notebook entries that would have been going into collection number 2. And then your last entry, just make sure that you've, done an entry by that kind of last week in April when we have our finals. So the second assignment that we have kind of still coming down the pike is the comic analysis. So we did the first one on A Game for Swallows. I'd like us to follow the same format for our next one. And I was going to give you guys some books in class to look at. And obviously you can pick your own. You can't have books in class. So I'm going to scan over the next week a selection of different short stories. I've got, a bunch of collections. That's what I have my phone propped up on, is my pile of short stories of comics that I'm going to go through, kind of select some that I think might be interesting. If you've got like a genre you like, or you have like a type of thing that you're interested in, let me know. I can see if I can find something. Or if you have your own, totally, if you've got a comic you want to analyze, that's totally cool. Just shoot me an email before April 3rd, just so that like I'm aware that you've picked something else. And that also gives you over a week in order to have kind of analyzed that for the deadline of the 14th of April. Again, use the same format as we did for last time. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. Zoom is a perfect time to do that, to just pop in and say, hey, I'm working on this particular one and I've got a question on how to approach it from like a scene level or from a panel level. Let me know, and hopefully that's something that would then be helpful to somebody else too. In terms of your midterm zine, that you should have been able to submit to me either via Blackboard or by email if you are having problems with Blackboard. So if you haven't, please make sure you get it to me by the end of this week 11, the week that ends on March 27th. I know there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of things have been up in the air, so I'm kind of giving you that as an extra week to just get me stuff if you need to. Which brings us to the final project. Now, the final project assignment will have its own video where I'm going to go into more detail and more depth, because again, I want to keep these in the like 5 to 10 minute range. But the general overview is that we're going to do a 4-page comic, and that's a 4-page US letter page comic. If you want to do a different format, that's fine, but kind of like if you're doing half that size, then you'll need 8 pages, etc. The topic will be anything related to comics and culture. It can be how you thought about comics when you were growing up. It could be maybe you think it's interesting how comics are seen in Japan, or like the first time you saw an anime. So we can kind of brainstorm ideas for this. I'm going to start a discussion board in the Blackboard so we can kind of like, hey, what are you thinking about doing? Like, shoot me some ideas. And obviously we'll talk about that more later, but you can also, when we're Zooming, you guys can have a brainstorming session maybe where you guys want to talk about that. And as we go, we're going to be posting our progress on Blackboard and discussion boards so that we can kind of get feedback from each other. I know it's not going to be the same as if we were doing it in person, but at least it's something. So we're going to have like 2 check-ins before the actual final project is due. So the first one is to thumbnail out what you want to do, and that's due on April 9th. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of time to think about what you want to do and to maybe kind of sketch out how are you going to fill 4 pages. And again, it's comics in the broadest form. Kind of like we talked about with the zine, it doesn't necessarily have to be drawn. It could be photographs. It can be collaged. You can, cut things out. It can be text and images that work together in a way that creates meaning. So you could make a comment on what it means to be a comic. And that's going to be the final project. So that is what is due at the time that you would have had your final exam, if we had a final exam, but no final exams in this class. So hopefully that's a little bit clearer. I've got a summary right here. So again, we're done with attendance and participation. We're done with homework. We've only got 3 kind of larger, broader overview things that we're going to be focusing on. One is keeping those composition notebooks 3 times a week and sending me a photograph of what you're doing when you're doing it. The second is the written comics analysis using the same format as we use for Game of Swallows. That's due on the 14th of April. And then the final project, which is a 4-page comic. We're going to have 2 check-ins, and then you're submitting the final. The first one of which is April 9th, and you'll get feedback along the way, both from me if you guys want to do like one-on-one Zooms, that's awesome, or also via things like discussion boards, so that way you guys can get feedback from each other. I look forward to seeing what you guys make. I hope that everybody is well and staying safe, and we'll speak soon.